You know that feeling when you crank up a song and just feel that raw energy? That powerful mix of drums, bass, and guitar that makes you have to move? Well, that's the magic of the Rock Band. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain and see what makes this incredible musical machine tick.
So, when you see a band up on stage, what actually goes into creating that iconic wall of sound? What are the key ingredients? Let's break it all down.
All right, to really get it, we need to look at the anatomy of a band. You can almost think of it like a recipe, right? Where every single musician is a crucial ingredient. So first things first, let's get a handle on the core concept.
Okay, so at its very heart, a rock band is all about teamwork. It's not just a bunch of people playing their instruments at the same time. No, it's more like a conversation, where each part lifts up the others. You've heard the saying, the whole is greater than the sum of its parts? That is exactly what a rock band is all about.
So, with that in mind, let's start deconstructing this thing. We're going to begin at the very bottom, the foundation of the sound, the rhythm and the riff.
You know, every single great rock song, I don't care if it's the simplest punk anthem or the most complex prog rock epic, is built on a solid foundation. And that foundation is called the rhythm section. It's usually two key players who absolutely have to be locked in, perfectly in sync.
First up, you've got the drums. I mean, this is the engine room of the band. It's the literal heartbeat of the song. The drummer's the one providing that steady beat, laying down the groove that everyone else follows. And think about it, that groove can totally change a song's entire feel, right? From the super fast pulse of punk rock, all the way to the wild, shifting patterns of prog rock.
And right there with the drums, you have the bass guitar. Now the bass, it isn't just something you hear, it's something you literally feel, right in your chest. The bassist's job is to lock in tight with that drummer, but they also do something else really important. They outline the chords, guiding the harmony. They're basically the bridge, that crucial link between the rhythm and all the melody on top.
All right, so we've got our solid foundation. Now it's time for the fun stuff. This is where we add the color, the excitement, the firepower. The lead instruments are what bring the melody and harmony right to the front, building on top of that solid groove we just talked about.
And for that, more often than not, we turn to the electric guitar. Come on, it's the star of the show in so much of rock music. We're talking everything from those unforgettable catchy riffs to absolutely screaming solos. Just think about legends like Jimi Hendrix or Eddie Van Halen. I mean, those guys made the guitar sing.
But hey, the guitar isn't the only voice in the conversation. Keyboards, they offer this incredible versatility. You can add all these different layers and textures, from gritty organs to futuristic synthesizers. I mean, just look at bands like Queen or The Doors. They proved, without a doubt, just how essential keyboards could be to the whole rock sound.
Okay, so let's recap. We've built this amazing sonic landscape, right? We've got rhythm, we've got melody, we've got harmony, but something's missing. We need someone to deliver the message, to tie it all together with a human story.
And that, of course, is where the lead singer comes in. They're usually the face of the band, and for good reason. The vocalist is the ultimate storyteller. Their job is to use their voice to wring every single ounce of emotion out of the lyrics, to connect directly with you, the listener, and make that song absolutely unforgettable.
Okay, so now we get it. We've got the classic formula down pat. But here's the thing about music. It never, ever stands still. The story of rock is really a story of constant evolution, of artists always looking for new ways to mess with that classic recipe.
And this change, it happened fast. In the late 60s and 70s, rock just exploded into a million different subgenres. Then bam, 1981, MTV hits the airwaves, and suddenly the music video is just as important as the song itself. Fast forward to the early 90s, and you've got bands like Nirvana dragging alternative rock out of the underground and into the mainstream. And then, of course, the digital revolution of the late 90s just changed the entire game. How music was made, how it was shared, it opened the door for so much more experimentation.
And a huge part of that evolution was artists looking outside their own backyard and borrowing from other genres. Hip-hop especially had a massive impact. All of a sudden, collaborations that would have been unthinkable just a few years before started becoming common. This led to totally new sounds, like nu metal, where bands were blending heavy rock riffs with hip-hop vocals and beats.
Which, of course, brings us all the way to today. So after all those decades of evolution, of reinvention, of blending genres, where does the whole idea of a rock band even fit into the modern music scene?
Well, here's the big takeaway. Rock isn't gone. Not at all. Its DNA is now, well, it's everywhere. Those old strict genre boundaries, they've pretty much dissolved.
You can hear its influence loud and clear in pop rock acts like Maroon 5, and even in country with artists like Chris Stapleton. That spirit of rock, that powerful combo of rhythm and firepower, it's still a massive force in music today, even if it doesn't always sound like it used to.
And that really leaves us with one last really interesting question. As these genre lines keep blurring, maybe even disappearing completely, what does the future of rock even sound like? What is the next generation of artists going to do with this classic formula?